Okay guys, in this video I'll be taking over you guys on how to find the x and the y-intercept of linear relations and using that information to actually sketch a graph. Now obviously having the knowledge to actually find the x and y-intercepts is obviously very important, because without the information you can't actually sketch a graph and get full marks in your questions. So as you guys can see, we'll be going over two questions. Question 1, which I will be teaching you guys, and question 2, which is a bit more difficult, which I will also be going over, so stay tuned. So this is, as you guys can see, this is question 1, y is equal to 2x plus 3. Now before I tell you guys on how to find the x and y intercepts, let me write down the basic rule for linear relations, which is y is equals to mx plus c. Now in this case, m is equals to 2 and c is equals to 3. So what m is the gradient of the line, and c is the y-intercept, which is 3 in this case. So without needing to do anything, we already know what the y-intercept is. The y-intercept would therefore be 0, 3. Now in order to find the x-intercept, we actually, so let's rewrite the question. In order to find the x-intercept, y needs to equal 0, because obviously when you're finding the x-intercept, it would be x comma 0, because it's going to be on somewhere along the x line. It wouldn't be x1 or x2, it would obviously be 0 somewhere along the line. So let's sub in y as 0, so we get 0 is equals to 2x plus 3, subtract 3 from both sides. Now minus 3 is equals to 2x, and now we have to divide 2 to both sides, and we get negative 3 over 2 is equals to x. So therefore the x-intercept would be the x-intercept would therefore be negative 3 over 2 comma 0. So we know our x and y intercept. If you guys are wondering how do we already know this, this is because if we need to find the y-intercept, x would be 0. So for y-intercept, x is equals to 0, and if you guys can see here, if we sub in x is 0, we get y is equal to 3, because 0 times 2 is 0 and y is therefore just 3. So that's why the value of c will always be the y-intercept. So now let's use this information to actually sketch a proper graph. So let me just draw the Cartesian plane. Let's draw the axes, y, x, and now we already know our x and y intercept. So now we therefore, so 3, 0, 0, 3 would be over here. Always remember to write the proper coordinates. Don't just write 3, you want to write 0, 3 in order to get full marks in your question. And this, the y-intercept, oh my days, the y-intercept over here would be negative 3 over 2, 0. So you got the x-intercept, you got the y-intercept, and all you have to do is sketch a line. Try to do it as straight as possible. Sketch a line through these 2 points. Remember to draw the arrows, because the line doesn't just stop there. You have to draw arrows. You obviously can't draw like past the paper. You want to draw arrows to indicate, unless there's a domain, which I will teach in a different video. So this is how you use the x and y intercept to sketch a graph for y is equal to 2x plus 3. Okay, now we're going to go over question 2, which is 3x plus 4y is equals to 7. Now this obviously isn't in the form we want it to be in. As you can see, the y is just scattered everywhere. We wanted to put it back into form. Now, in order to do this, we actually have to rearrange the equation in order to have the y alone on the left-hand side with no coefficient and the gradient and the y-intercept on the right-hand side. Now, in order to do this, to rearrange the equation, so we have to take minus 3 to the other side, so this would minus 3 on both sides. This would therefore become 4y is equals to minus 3x plus 7. And now we have to divide both sides by 4 in order to get the y on itself with no coefficient. So this would therefore become, divided 4 by both sides, this would become y is equals to negative 3x plus 7 over 4. Now, a key tip I'm going to tell you guys is to write the divided. So don't write the divide 4 on top of the whole right hand side. You want to write it like this separately so you guys can easily identify the gradient, which is negative 3 over 4, and the y-intercept in this case, which is 7 over 4. So you guys actually don't need to know how to do, you guys actually don't need to do this in order to find the x and y-intercept, but some questions are specific things like tell us the gradient, so obviously you would then need to rearrange it. So I just did that for you guys. So now when we sub in, when we need to find the y-intercept, x is 0, and in this case the y-intercept is therefore 0, 7 over 4, because if we sub in 0, 0 times negative 3 over 4 is just 0, and y is equal to 7 over 4. That's the y-intercept. Now, in order to find the x-intercept is where we have to do a bit of substitution. So, x-intercept is when y is equals to 0. So, let's sub in y as 0. So, 0 is equals to negative 3 over 4 x plus 7 over 4. And now we subtract 7 over 4 to both sides, which would therefore become minus 7 over 4 is equals to minus 3 over 4x. We can cancel the negative to both sides. We don't need, if then there's a negative on both sides and no like other number subtracting or adding, we can just cancel the negatives like that. And then you can also cancel the 4 and 4. I'll tell you why. Because if we take the 4 to the other side, multiply both sides by 4, it would become 7 times 4 over 4, and the 4 4s just cancels. Now this would therefore become 7 is equals to 3x. Divide 3 on both sides, and then you would get x is equals to 7 over 3. Now that means your x-intercept is equals to 7 over 3, comma 0. So now we've got your x-intercept and we've got our y-intercept. Now we can use this information to actually sketch a graph using the points we've found. So let me just draw a Cartesian plane. Label the axes. Always remember to label the axes, or then you guys won't get the full marks you need. It's just easy marks. Labeling the axes, very easy. Just remember to do it. So now we're going to plot the points. 7 over 3, 0 is on the positive side of the x-axis. That's over here. 7 over 3, 0. Let me actually write it on the other side. 7 over 3, 0. And 0, now the y-intercept, which is 0, 7 over 4, that's also on the positive side of the y-axis. So 0, 7 over 4. If you want, you guys can draw an arrow to indicate your point. And now we just have to draw a straight line past the 2 points we have plotted on the graph. Now that wasn't a very good line, obviously. Always remember to draw the arrows at the end to indicate that there's no domain and the line is continuous. And that is how you sketch a graph for 3x plus 4y is equals to 7.